Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey, everybody, how we doing? How we doing, people? We doing good, well? Thank y'all for joining me. Today, y'all can hear me well. A prime example of what I'm talking about. A prime example of what I'm talking about today. Hello, M. Cole, whoever you are. Welcome to the channel. What plantation? What plantation? Are you Black, Miss M. Cole? And if so, are you a Black man or a Black woman? We just gonna try to take you at face value. What plantation? To ask the question is to answer it. Blacks hold prominent positions in the Democratic Party. Oh, they're gone. While the only job a Black can get under Trump is Secretary of Hood. And what do the Black people do? That's in these so-called prominent positions in the Democratic Party? What do they do for Black people? How does it benefit? How do they benefit Black people? The first disingenuous argument, before I get to some of the clips and, just some of the things that I wanted to point out. One of the most disingenuous arguments is, well, what do the Republicans do for Black people? When anyone says Democrats have not done anything for Black people, any tangibles, any real thing for Black people at large. And I'm going to tell you why that is a logical fallacy argument. Because as a whole, even in this election that the Republicans won in a landslide, Blacks as a voting bloc have never rewarded the Republican Party with its vote. Blacks have always rewarded the Democratic Party for its vote, with its vote. So because the vast majority of the Black voting bloc in this country have more, in an overwhelming majority, have voted Democrat, it was up to the Democrats to do something for that vote. Republicans don't court the Black vote because they know they're not going to get it. So they court the voting blocks that they feel are going to actually have a realistic chance of voting for them. Black people have historically, in the most recent U.S. history, since LBJ, voted overwhelmingly in the majority of the Democratic Party. So the Republicans have no reason to overly court the Black voting bloc. They know they're not going to get the majority voting bloc from Blacks. They know they're not going to get that. So they have no reason to overly court. Okay? The Democratic Party, on the other hand, pander for the Black vote while understanding that they're going to get it. Even in this election, for a candidate that was pre-selected, did not go through Democratic primaries, did not have to compete with any other politician or candidate potential, was placed in a position to run on the Democratic ticket for president. It was the weakest candidate that you could have possibly put up there. She was the most unqualified candidate that you could possibly put up there. In this election, no Democrat would have won, but at least could have been a competent competition, a competent race. She was incompetent, showed up on more than one occasion, in my opinion, not sober. Okay? And Black people cannot, we can't, we won't. That's the horrible part. Not only we can't, we won't. Will not leave the Democratic plantation. The Democrats got people in a chokehold, and it is the most mind-blowing. The fact that this particular year was a true unveiling of a lot of the intent, a lot of the background foolishness that has been going on in the Democratic Party, the outwardly playing in Black people's faces, from purporting that Kamala Harris was Black when she is not, okay, to the twerking and all of the pushing of the celebrities to tell people how to vote, to bringing out Barack Obama to chastise specifically Black men into voting, to putting on this circus on The View, both pre and post-election, with Sunny Hostin calling Black men crazy. This overt shaming of Black men and anyone Black that did not vote Democrat, to the not taking responsibility for any reason that the Democrats lost. And the list goes on and on and on. To stealing taxpayer money. What do you think the whole illegal immigration deal is about? That's about funneling taxpayer money away from Americans and into various pockets. All this funneling money, this is money laundering, and they don't want nobody to talk about it. All that money that has gone to Ukraine, billions of dollars. Biden just pledged another, I think, billion or something like that to Africa or something for humanitarian reasons. What do you think the Harris's campaign raised? 1.5 billion or more money, dollars for that campaign. All of that money gone. 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 And then he pardons his son. Biden pardons Hunter for tax, issues and money laundering. And then you got black people talking about, if it was my son, I would pardon him too. Yeah. And black people remain. I'm sorry. I love my people. I love y'all. But you the stupidest people that I ever did see. Y'all are stupid. Y'all, and you willfully so. You willfully stupid. You want to be blind. You willfully blind and ignorant and stupid to everything. To everything that is happening around you. How these people have used you for years, putting in policies that have nothing to do with nothing. They only tear up the black community. These illegal immigrants are in every major city, and they are in majority in the poorest neighborhoods. And we know that typically the poorest neighborhoods are black neighborhoods. And they're black neighborhoods. Chicago, I don't know what's going to happen to my city. Putting them people in the poorest neighborhoods, and you got black people trying to talk about what's the problem with the immigrants? Y'all got better stuff to worry about. Do you? Do you? You got better things to worry about than an entire demographic of people coming into your already impoverished neighborhoods and usurping what little resources are actually available so that you and your children suffer? Putting the illegal immigrants into these places. Meanwhile, shutting down the Pepsi plant in Chicago that's been there since before I was born. If you're from Chicago, the Pepsi plant that's in back of the yards, shut that down without any notice to any of them people. Those was mainly black people and Mexicans working in there, not of the illegal variety, but legal migrants, people who have been here for the last 20, 30 years working. Shut them people down. Ain't give them their pension for those that was owed their pensions and stuff or this close from retirement. Shut that whole thing down. You know what they're going to do? And this is just they're going to shut it down and they're going to open it back. And you know who they're going to hire? It won't be the people who was working there. It won't be the people who was demanding more money. It won't be the union workers who was going through the union to demand higher wages because they had been working there so long without any raises. Inflation kicking their butts, but the wage don't go up. They know that Pepsi can afford it. So instead of paying and negotiating with the union, they just shut it down. Now then people got to figure out what they got to do. You know who they're going to open it up for. They're going to open it up in a couple of months. And it's going to be people that won't demand that money. It's going to be people that won't demand that money. They'll take $10 and $15. That's not enough to take care of nobody in this economy. You can't do it. You're scraping at $17, $18. You're like scraping stuff together in this economy. It's a shame. And they claim that Americans don't want to work. Who don't want to work? Who don't want to work? That's a lie. That's a lie. People want to work because people gotta work. What is people talking about? Don't want to work. We can't go. We can't go. The average American born citizen cannot go and get government assistance and work a full-time job to get ahead. You know, we can't do that. You realize we can't do that. Either or. Because if you go and get government assistance, Section 8, food stamps, this, that, third, then they require that you can't meet a certain threshold of outside income or they cut you off. So we're not getting your rent paid for 10 years and then you can work a regular full-time job on paper, stack your money, get yourself together. See, we can't do that. The average American citizen can't do that. Even the welfare queen, she can't do it either. She can't. She has to either work or get government assistance in full. She cannot do both. If you're gonna work, you have to do it under the table. And this is not the 80s and 90s anymore, where you could just work under the table, you could just do this and do that and stuff not reported, and you could just get the cash. It's not the same. So we can't, I could not go get on Section 8 for 5 years, go work a regular job, 9 to 5, making $17, $18, $19 an hour, stack my money as if I was paying rent, use the money to maybe start a small business or something like that, or you know what I'm saying, do what you need. That's a big load off of you. I ain't got to pay rent for 5, 6 years. That's a low. Who in here would not want to pay, who would not want the opportunity to not have to pay rent, but you ain't about to get kicked out either? And I don't care what tax bracket you in. I don't really care what tax bracket you in. I would love to be somewhere where I ain't got to pay for a few years. You ain't got to pay no bills? No major bill? Oh. It'll be real easy to get yourself real started then. But with these illegal aliens coming into the country or being allowed into the country in the numbers that they have been coming in over the past 3 to 4 years, they come in, they get the assistance for years. Of course, any money that they get through government assistance is not taxable, no matter how much it is. It cannot be taxed. They're using that money, untaxable money, to go and buy materials for they little pop-up little food stands and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. Taking cash for what they sell. That money also untaxable because it's not on the books. Tax it how? Because who's gonna know? How would they know? Who's gonna know? They're not gonna know. How would they know? They're gonna know. How would they know? Tax it how? They can make money hands over fists. Tax it how? For the next 5 years, you make money hand over fist. Don't have to pay no taxes. Don't have to report it nowhere. Don't have to do nothing. It's just money in your pocket. Of course, now, after 5 years of that, you can buy your house. And then it'll be them people that look to Black people telling them, we don't know why they can't make it. You don't know why we can't make it. Okay. And I'm saying all of that Because Black people are sitting here talking about the immigration is not a problem. That's not a problem. Why wouldn't it be a problem? Why wouldn't that be a problem that directly affect Black people? Directly. It's not even indirect. It's directly affect you right in your face. It's not even around the corner. It's not even like affecting you this way in a zigzag. No. It's boom, a direct headshot to you. You cannot have that amount of people in that short amount of time come into a country and don't think it's not going to overburden it. For the last 4 years, the equivalent of a small country has relocated into the United States, millions of people. And that whole lie about they're going to do the jobs the Americans don't want to do, that's a lie. Because a lot of this new batch is coming in entitled. This new batch coming in like I better get something. And we don't see the problem. I just want to share, and I'm going to get to the super chats. I see the very generous super chats. I just want to share some of this stuff. This is one of the ladies from Chicago, and they're on a crusade. She's like one of the biggest spokespersons about flipping Chicago red, right? And she's gonna be going off because she always shows up. I see plenty of clips of her showing up to the town hall meetings and the city hall meetings, talking directly to the current mayor, which is Brandon Johnson. He's doing a horrific job. He's tearing up my city. Listen, let me tell you something. I may have moved out of Chicago, but I'm Chicago, and I do not like to see my city be torn. It started a while ago. There's always been corruption, right? But the blatant playing in your face, that really started with Rahm Emanuel. It continued under Lightfoot, and it's continuing with him. It's getting worse and worse and worse. We need to get rid of those corrupt aldermen and those mayors. And I swear to you, the next mayor better be Republican. No more rewarding Democrats with your vote, and they don't care about what you need as a voter.
See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first. Please come here first, because you know what? We're going to help you. We want to forensic.
Ma'am, I would ask that you keep your, hold on a second. Stop her time. Stop her time. Just a second. Stop her time. Ma'am, I would ask that you, if you want to continue speaking, you have to make sure that your language is appropriate. Okay? All right.
Alex.
Okay, you can begin her time again.
You're gonna spend our tax dollars to go, Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. You said you're going to spend our tax dollars to take Trump to court to protect these illegals if they try to come in your here in your district. And then you said they all of y'all in cahoots with each other to do it. Okay, so now we about to make y'all famous. We're going to let all y'all constituents know who y'all ratting for, that y'all wouldn't spend our tax dollars to protect illegals and to get them legal services. So that's what we're doing. That's cool because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's going to rat? I think not. Flip Chicago red. We not playing.
Now what I want you to know is look at the comments. Look at the comments. Do they go this strong over gang violence? Listen, let me tell y'all something about Chicago. If you don't live in Chicago, if you weren't raised in Chicago, if you didn't grow up in Chicago, we gonna need some of these people to stand down with their mouthpiece. Gonna need you to stand down with the mouthpiece. Actually did. Because, and first, thank you for your contributions to Chicago. Still voted for Kamala Harris this year. Don't think the citizens of Chicago learned a lesson. Trump only lost Illinois, and Chicago runs Illinois by vote. By 4 points. By 4 points. I don't think people really understand how much Illinois and Chicago is a Democratic stronghold, just like California. It's just like California. So the trend was heavy to red. You see what I'm saying? The trend was heavy to red. Illinois and Chicago have been a Democratic stronghold since I have ever known it. Since I've ever known it. They literally are a blue no matter who. But that mind and that voice of we're not going to do that anymore is so strong now. So I just wanted to let people know that. Talking about the gang violence, that's not gonna shaming Chicagoans about. We have been going hard at gang violence for so long. Grassroots, Black people, different organizations in the city have been working with little to no money or resources or nothing to fight gang violence in Chicago. First of all, that whole Chirac, everywhere is bad, that's a lie. Chicago is a major metropolitan city. It's got hoods in it, and it has gangs in it. And there are other parts of the city that don't have that problem at all. Just like any other major metropolitan city. It's hood you go in and hood you don't. Some more dangerous than others, some relatively not dangerous at all. So all that, oh man, it's so bad. As soon as you step into Chicago, you're going to be, no. That's actually not true. That's actually not true. Even O Block in Inglewood, which was one of the worst neighborhoods for violence, has calmed down significantly, and it was calming down before I left it. It's being gentrified, but also the Muslims came into Inglewood and been going through Inglewood, converting these young brothers and trying to stomp out all that violence from that aspect. So all that, oh, Chicago's so incredibly dangerous, that's actually not true. That's not true. It's not any more dangerous than anywhere else if you go in the hood. Don't go to the worst hood. I mean, that is simple. So trying to not talk about what she's talking about. So this one had to kind of correct it. And Mayor Brandon Johnson is trying to raise their property taxes to help fund the migrant crisis. That's why the citizens of Chicago are mad. Where are we getting crops from? When all the migrants gone and they need people to work the crops. We talking about Chicago, Illinois. There aren't any crops there, okay? And they start locking us up by the dozen and sending prisoners to farm. I hope they start with her and her family. And that's something real interesting to say. First of all, what crops is we talking about? Second of all, when they be going to federal prison, they be doing slave labor. They be agriculture, building stuff for large tech companies, furniture companies. It's a whole thing. That's an industry. That's why the prisons are privatized like that. All this unnecessary gang violence going on in Chicago, and this bozo is worried about immigrants when the Black young Negroes are the problem. That's what I was. This is why I was talking about the immigrants, because why don't you know that this is an issue? And then what does this have to do with anything? Chicago was discovered by a Haitian, an immigrant. Thank a Haitian today. Like it be the troll comments for me. Why we don't understand nothing? Why Black people don't understand nothing? This has been, I'm several live stream and videos in covering various topics of the election and the fallout around it and all of these things. And I have yet to be able to formulate the amount of disappointment that I have for the stupidity of Black people into intelligible words to convey to you. I'm still struggling with that. I'm still struggling with it. Every time I think I got it and I can say it in a articulate, concise manner, I get here and I can't even say it. This is why the world leaves us behind and think that we're so stupid. Probably. That's probably the case, Miss Eliza. That's probably the case. Need to be cussed up one side and down the other is what's really happening. That's what it really is. That's what it really is. Need to be just cussed all the way out. Call you everything but a child of God. And then don't want the world to pass you by. You've been passed by. The only group that didn't stand on business in this election, the only one. You get nothing for sucking up to the Democrats. Nothing. Nothing. They give you nothing. And then you have the audacity to sit somewhere and talk about reparations. And then you get mad at people like me when I say you ain't getting them. You ain't. Argue with your mama. You ain't getting a dime. First of all, because they laundering all of it. Get with the program. You ain't gonna get 2 nickels to rub together. What about our reparations? What about them? What about them? You kissed the Democratic plantation, but since Lyndon B. Johnson, and they ain't gave you nothing but they butt to kiss. That is all that they have done, is talk a little game to you, and then you go in droves to vote for them, and no sooner than they procure your vote, make sure that they get the seat that they was going for, you're nothing until the next election. And they can play in your face. Put that woman in everybody's face, talk about she a black woman, and you still got fools out here talking about that was a black woman. You stupid. She went to a HBCU. I don't care. Why we couldn't put a black woman in office? And she's sitting there telling you that she got $1.5 billion and $20 million in debt, and you wanted her in charge of your money. Tell me you an ignorant fool without telling me you an ignorant fool. You wanted her in charge of the economy and the entirety of the United States. And she get in front of that camera not sober. And brag to you about how much money she made off of you. And you ain't getting it back. And you ain't gonna do nothing about it, but sit there and skin and grin and vote blue the next time. Biden sit there and lie in your face. I'm not gonna pardon my son. I'm not gonna pardon my son. No sooner than he got the opportunity to do so, he know he cannot coming back to no type of office. He pardoned him. Lied for 4 years about what he was gonna do. He knew he was gonna do it. Talking about he didn't lie. If it was his son, if it was my son, I would have did it too. They blatantly lie in your face, and you still kiss their butt and suck their toes. You still drink their bath water. You still do it. That's why they know they ain't got to change. This is why they're not doing no introspection, because you ignorant fool gonna still vote for him. They don't care what he do. After these messages, we'll be right back. Because I need everybody to take a breather and go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Give yourself the gift of wonderful skin looking and feeling its best. And also, in this holiday season, give somebody else the gift of it as well. If this is going to be your first time purchasing it, please don't hesitate to take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson. If it's going to be your first order, make sure that you gift it not only to yourself, but everyone else who wants their skin to be radiant and wonderful as well. This is some of the best body care products and body butter on the market, if I do say so myself. So please click the link at the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. I know I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button for me. Thank you. Suave said Republicans have also proven that they can win elections with minimal to no support from Black America. Exactly. Thank you so much, Theo, for your tremendous support. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Miss Lou Casely, as well, for your consistent support and your super sticker. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you, Chief Rocka, for your super sticker as well. Thank you, Chris Creative said when Biden won, the NGOs already had them at the border with Biden-Harris shirts on saying, with signs saying, let us in. I go to Peru and Colombia often, and they told me they knew at the border they could get fresh cash, work permits, housing vouchers, and transportation. Wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Once again, thank you, Greatness81. I appreciate you as well. Thank you, L2. Said, preach, Miss Crimson, watching from the bushes. Salute. Thank you so much. And thank you, Miss Marsha. I appreciate you, sis. Say they need to hear it, sis. Thank you for your generous contribution. I appreciate you as well. Every time I think about collard greens in the bathtub, I throw up in my mouth a little. I would not dare. Do you understand? And I don't think y'all know, because y'all ain't never known it. No, I ain't never been to my home. The way I scrub that tub ought to be illegal. And there would out never. You know how many little stray hair? I don't even want to talk about it. It make me throw up. It made me throw up. It made me throw up. It just made me throw up. Just to think about anything being consumed in the bathroom. I can't consume nothing and even walk into the bathroom. Like, I don't even walk into the bathroom with food in my mouth. I can't drink no water. I can't chew nothing. If I was chewing something and had to go to the bathroom, I finished chewing it before I go. I can't. It's just nothing in my mind makes me do it. There's just nothing in my head at all that would allow me to even think about it. Not even gum. Not even that. Nope. No, ma'am. You right with me, sis. Not even. I no the way, and I still chew ice. I just don't do it on camera no more. But those of you who've been with me for a while, y'all know I'm an ice chewer. I still chew it just as fervently as I always have. If I'm chewing a piece of ice, I will not go. Listen. It's like putting them in the toilet. It's the same thing. You might as well put some stuff in the toilet and get it out. Them Goop Scoop videos, I'm gonna tell you this much. That Super Ray that be on Instagram with that Goop Scoop, that'd be too funny. That's just disgusting. Let me get off of that because I'm trying to, the image is in my head and I can't. Putting in them little toe jam collard greens, you know, your feet. Biden pledges $1 billion in new aid for Africa. According to reports, President Biden announced over $1 billion in humanitarian aid for 31 African countries, addressing food insecurity and urgent needs during his visit to Angola. The funding includes $823 million via U.S. aid and $186 million through the State Department. What about our homeless and veterans before anything? No. Is you ever going to help us? No. What about African Americans? You owe reparations to Memphis, St. Louis, Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit. You're not getting them. He's just tanking the economy harder before he leaves. Yeah. How about North Carolina? What about it? Never seen a post that say 1 billion for America. Where do people think that money's coming from? Where do American citizens think that money come from? You realize that money comes from people who actually pay taxes, right? And when I say pay taxes, I don't mean the people, and this is no shade, but I'm not talking about people that get tax refunds. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about people who owe no refund and not getting a refund. You owe it. And they like to tell that lie that the rich people are paying they need to pay more because they don't really pay. You know who really pays it? Small business owners. Small business owners. You got a business, you hire a couple of people, 10 people, 15 people, maybe 20 people, maybe 100 people. You're gonna get hit over the head with so many taxes. And if you don't know how to manage, or you don't know how to make sure that your expenditures are the way that they're supposed to be, to lower the actual taxable income and structure your business properly in terms of tax law, you will suffer. You will suffer. You will suffer. I feel so sorry because small business owners should, it would be my idea to have them tax free the first 5 years, no taxes. You don't pay taxes for your business, and I would stipulate that it need to be structured a certain way. Da 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 da. Maybe just S corps, maybe just LLCs, whatever the case may be, right? And if your business would have to be in effect for the first 3 to 5 years, no taxes on your business. Depending on how it was structured, it would need to be structured a particular way. After that, if you're still in business and your business is profitable, then we tax you. And the tax would have to have a cap on it as well. I'm in favor of taxes being a flat rate, depending on your tax bracket, a flat rate, not guessing. And if you make higher money where you start owing taxes, you need to be able to substantiate that income for at least 2 to 3 years before you move to the next tax bracket fee. Now, I'm not even going to take credit for that thought. That was my husband's concept for taxes. Me and him were having a conversation and he just put that on the table. I was like, that's excellent. That's excellent. That's a superb tax concept. Exactly. Most small business operated at a loss the first few years. That income is not really income. So much of that is expenses that go back into the business. You don't really raise your level of living until a few years later. It's consistent. You've gotten your expenses together, and you don't, and they hit you immediately. They hit you right over the head immediately. I don't understand. I actually don't understand why we so dumb as a people. I don't get it. I want to solve the issue. We don't be understanding nothing. Give me a second. We don't understand nothing. You want Trump in charge of the economy, but don't he file bankruptcy? Don't even understand the purpose of bankruptcy. Why wealthy people file for particular chapters, I believe it to be chapter 11, bankruptcy for reorganization purposes. Don't even get that part. Bankruptcy does not mean that you are bankrupt. It is primarily used to exempt you from taxes as you reorganize your business in case your businesses start operating at a loss and you know you can't pay the taxes on it. You filing for that chapter 11, I do believe, bankruptcy allows you to reorganize while still operating, not owing the IRS anything for a particular amount of time. It's designed to help you recoup and not have to throw your business away. I don't know why Black people are so caught up. I don't know why y'all complaining about Trump. And yeah, we gonna, he gonna have us back in slavery. You already on a plantation. You ain't used to it. You never left. What you mad about? What difference do it make to the slave who the master is? If you gonna be a slave. If you happy working in the field as a slave, what difference do it make to you who own the plantation? You like being on it regardless, correct? You like the plantation. You already said that you like being on a plantation because you don't care what that master do to you. What difference do it make? You think that the other master gonna be what, a little bit more mean? Like, do it matter? You get whipped either way, but you like getting whipped, don't you? You don't like getting whipped? I could have fooled me. I almost say it's kinky when the Democrats do it, though, right? It's bad when the Republicans do it, but getting whipped is kinky when the Democrats do it. Is that what it is? You picks cotton anyway. And say thank, and every time you get hit by a Democratic whip, you say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" And you pick more cotton. Like, you listen to all the rhetoric that they say. Don't show up for Thanksgiving and the holidays with your family if they voted for Trump. Like, what kind of crazy stuff is that? Like, what kind of stuff is y'all thinking about and listening to? And they so blatant with it. You got Angela Rye crying, quote unquote. You got Sonny Hostin going on these tirades, and all the chicks on The View going on these tirades every day. That if anybody else was to say this stuff, they would be canceled, quote unquote, canceled. And hold on, it's too many of y'all still here anyway. Didn't a lot of these so-called celebrities and little news people and all that kind of stuff say that if Trump won, they was leaving the country? Where your flight? When is the flight? I know you can afford it. First class on up out of here. Right? Thought y'all was leaving. Sonny say so much inflammatory stuff. Every time she open her mouth, she have to read a legal note. I don't know that a lot of people really understand that money is an energy. It's not even really the cash. It's a current. I don't know, y'all. I just, every time it hit me, I come here to talk about it. I don't know why we so dumb, y'all. Right. Now, she can be funny in her way, but that little crashing out over black men, I was done with that. Because it's ridiculous. I don't blame you for not even wanting to put the foolishness in your mind. We like being victims too much, and I'm done with it. We like that victim stuff, and I'm done. Oh, they doing something to us. Like, at this point, you do it to yourself, and I don't have any sympathy for it. Thank you, James, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you, 21st Century Viking said, as a vet, life isn't pretty, but you can't be stupid because you're doubling down on what your feelings are. Follow me, lead the way. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lord Geotron said, just showing respect and support till payday. I appreciate you. And thank you, Timestamp says, CC, thank you as well. Thank you, HVAC. How you doing, sweetheart? Said, black people love being victims. 2025, be a victor or volunteer. I'm done too. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with the victim. I'm done with it. Anyway, before we head on up out of here.
Diary of Dark One's Son, is a look into the thoughts, opinions, and experiences of a young Black man who is wrestling with the tough task of trying to make something out of himself in a very racist and hateful environment. It covers in detail the thoughts of a man as he observes and eventually learns how to cope and deal with the world around him. It is a story of a man who, while beset with many obstacles, learns how to overcome them in order to accomplish his goals and aspirations. This book is not for the faint of heart, and the opinions that are shared in this book can be deemed very offensive to some readers. If you think that you will be offended by the opinions shared in this book, the answer is simple. This is not the book for you. This book is merely the opinions of one man, and it should be taken as such. However, if you really wish to gain insight into the thoughts of a young Black male in today's society, then look no further. Read this book. Excerpt from the book. From the chapter, Am I Visible or What? One day when I was walking home from school, I came across this other brother who was walking my way. In his eyes, I could see the sadness, the same sadness that was in mine. I knew exactly what was going through his mind too. He was feeling like an absolute nobody. How did I know, you ask? Because I was feeling the same way at the moment right when I walked past him. Have you ever felt, if you are a Black man reading this, that you were invisible to the world? Not because you want to be, but because people refuse to acknowledge your presence. Read more when you purchase this book. This book can be purchased from lulu.com.
So what you want to do is the link that I pinned to the top of the chat is the link to the ebook version of this book. In the description box, both links are present for those of you who would like a paperback version of the book as well. Go ahead and support our brother. This is the same brother that has the Black Men Zone and the other forums as well. This is that brother's book. So please go ahead and support the brother. Once again, the link is at the top of the chat in order to make sure that you support the brother. And with that, I'm going to get on up out of here. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.